Hi there. Welcome to day 4 of your Revolutionize Your Relationship with Food series. And I am talking all about how not to go back to that thing that always breaks your heart. And that thing in this case is that toxic relationship with food. But even more than that, we're talking the urges to binge. We're talking the cravings, those things that seem so tempting. They provide that temporary relief, that temporary satisfaction, but then boom, you're hit with guilt and shame and fear about weight gain and all the things you don't want. I know for me, when I woke up post binge, I felt so bloated and gross and nervous, and I just felt brain foggy the next day. My clothes fit different. I didn't feel confident. No more of that for you. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what to do in the moment of those cravings and urges. And in today's Power Hour, I'm actually leading you through an example of this live. So you got to join. So make sure actually before we go into this daily lesson that you click the link someplace around here and reserve your spot for our Overcome Overeating Power Hour before we fail. Because I'm going to actually take you through what I'm about to explain to you live, and you can practice it, a little version of it. So, okay, I want you to imagine that there's a grassy field in front of you. Okay, there's a grassy field, and you have to get to the other side. So you walk across the field, then you walk across the field again, then you walk across the field again. The next day you get there, you walk across the field. Next day you walk across the field. What happens? A path gets carved in the grass. You've walked that path so many times, it has become the path of least resistance. See what I'm getting at? In our brains do the same thing. Our brains form automatic pathways. So let's say nighttime, house gets quiet. You go to the cabinets and eat. Nighttime, the next day, house gets quiet. You go to the fridge and eat. Nighttime, after a dinner that you tried eating healthy at, you hit a drive-thru or go home and eat dessert or whatever it is, right? There is this pattern that gets created. You've walked that path so many times with your food, it becomes automatic. Now, your path doesn't have to be nighttime eating. That was just an example, but you can see how these paths get created. And since the brain's always trying to make everything automatic, it takes that path that's been walked a few times and it says, hey, this must be something that, Sarah or whatever your name is likes doing. And we're going to make that a really easy thing for her to do because it seems like she likes doing it. And boom, before you know it, you have a pathway in your brain that drives you to binge eat, have cravings, or whatever that might be. And let me tell you, since your brain has made this automatic, it seems so tempting. It seems so hard to say no to, so compulsive. And that's the reason why everything I taught in the first 2 days of this series is important, because we got to get you connected to your body. We got to get you honoring your needs, and we got to get you out of survival mode. When you're out of survival mode, it is so much easier to shift away from these urges to binge and these urges to overeat and these cravings. I'm just going to call them cravings for now, but please know when I say cravings, it's not just like, oh, I have a desire for chocolate. It's like, give me the damn chocolate bar, right? Or I'm going to eat chocolate tonight when I get home. It's got a little compulsion to it is what I'm talking about. It's a little more than, oh, that sounds good. No, it's a little more than that. So I'm going to use the blanket word of cravings for the ease of this, okay? So just like I talked about that path analogy, right? Walking the path. Now imagine if you got to your field tomorrow and there was a fence in front of your path and you're like, oh dang, I can't walk that path anymore. What's the next best path for me to walk? And you go to your field the next day. The fence is still there. You can't open the gate. Okay, I'm going to walk my new path again. Show up at the field the next day. Boom, fence is there. Can't do that. I'm going to walk my new path again. Do you see what I'm saying? So now a new path is being made from the new path you're walking over and over. Now, the cool thing about your brain is when a path is not used, it starts to go away. There's a technical term for it. Well, we won't go there. It starts to go away. Just like if you stopped walking that path in the field, it would eventually go away. The grass would go over. Same thing happens in the brain. So this is when I say your urges to binge, your compulsive cravings can go away forever. This is rooted in the physiological understanding of your brain and body. This is not some airy-fairy promise that I'm making you. This is rooted in neuroplasticity and the science of the way the brain works. So what we do when we're making sure we don't go back to those binge urges and cravings that don't serve us is we need to put an interruption in that old pathway. We call it a pattern interrupt. And then we need to take the new path, take the new path, take the new path. So a pattern interrupt can look a number of ways. I'm going to talk about it more on the Power Hour. So make sure you reserve a spot to do that. This is very important. This is very important. This is like game time for us. It's our secret sauce. It's the thing that I can confidently say makes you get to a place where you never have an urge to binge. And I want that to happen for you. We have a whole week dedicated to this stuff in our program. When someone comes and works with us, we custom create, a pattern interrupt, what to do in those cravings or those urges so they can block the pattern, create a new one, and never have an urge to binge again. So when you're out of survival mode, that like food crazed brain of yours starts to subside. The part of your brain where your higher thinking and your goals and your dreams and your personality and the awesome version of you that's on this little video training, you're hanging out with me, comes back on board, and it gets easier to do this. And so you have to create a pattern interrupt to, instead of saying, no, I'm not going to binge and kind of reasoning with this part of your brain. No, we don't do that. We stop the pattern, we break it, and then we choose the new route. And we do that over and over again. And eventually those urges to binge go away. So once again, join the Power Hour tonight. Or today, I don't even know what time it is, but join it. Click the link below this. You'll see what time it is. And come join us. And I will walk you through how to do this. But please know, it's not about fighting your urges and your cravings. It is about getting out of pattern and reconnecting back with the real you. The pattern version of you eats emotionally. The pattern version of you binges. The habitual pattern of you drives you to overeat at the end of the day or when you wake up or whatever that is. That's not who you are as a person. That's just a brain pattern that's been created, and we can create a new one. So we got to put a pattern interrupt there. So one big thing, there's different ways I interrupt patterns, and we use a ton of different ones with our students. But one thing I think is really important is changing your physical state. And when you can't trust your mind and you can't trust your body and you can't trust your patterns, I highly suggest doing something that kind of shakes things up a little, right? Just like that gate blocks the pattern in the field, I want you to shake things up a little bit with your pattern. So I put a little playlist here. This is not really our typical way we teach our students to shake up their patterns, but I think that this will support you not only with your binge urges, not only with your cravings, but just feeling good in your life. And part of this series is about reinvigorating and revolutionizing that relationship you have with yourself. So doing things that get you in your body and connected to yourself not only get you out of that autopilot, but also make you feel good and make you feel happy and feel alive. So next time you're feeling an urge or whatever that is, don't fight it. Don't say, oh, you can't have it. Say, hey, you can have it if the real you chooses. But first, we're going to get us out of this pattern. And then there should be a little button around here. Make sure you link to that Spotify playlist. I put some of my favorite, get in your body and feel good, happy songs. Definitely some Lady Boss, Lady Power songs in there. I hope you like them. And make sure you join the Power Hour tonight. I'm going to do one of this thing with you live, and I will support you with this and guide you with this. So join the Power Hour. It's free below here. And come tomorrow, I am talking all about, what am I talking about in the series tomorrow? Oh, listening to your body and creating that partnership with your body. I was going to say that person, but your body's not really a person. You're a person. So with your body, that she's got your back. She's always going to have your back. That partner that has your back. One of the biggest things for me was stopping binge and overeating, aside from learning about neuroplasticity and breaking these patterns in the brain, was partnering with my body and moving into a place of how do I support and care for myself. And I'm going to show you that tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to practice some body confidence and feeling good as well, because that's really important. And I'm super excited about that. So I hope to see you on the Power Hour soon, and I'll see you in our series tomorrow.